Okay, today we're going to talk about correlation, which we know as R. And correlation is the strength of a linear relationship between two quantitative variables. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that the response and the explanatory one causes the other. All it's saying is that either it forms a line or it doesn't form a line. And one is the strongest you can be, as well as -1 is just as strong. The only difference between here is the slope is positive and the slope is negative, and basically these would make perfect lines. A correlation of 0 means that there is no strength between the two. So let's just take a look at these numbers. I'm not going to assign them anything except for x and y right now. And if you notice that this probably will have a negative correlation because the numbers up here are increasing while the numbers down here are basically decreasing. So the way I like to say it is that R equals the summation of the z-scores times the z-scores, z of x times z of y divided by n minus 1. So the first thing we need to know is we need to know x bar and the standard deviation of x, and we need y bar and the standard deviation of y, and we find that by using our one variable stat. So for the x I got 30.1, and for sigma I got 9.4 and 26.1, and for sigma we got 11.9, and just for later on we got n equals 9. So in L3 I'm going to do L1 minus 30.1 divided by 9.4. And in L4, when you highlight L4, I'm going to do L2 minus 26.1 divided by 11.9. That's a better division sign. Alright, just so you know, at the top of my L3 and L4, I got negative 1.606 and I got 1.5882. And then, since we need to multiply them before we add, in L5 I got L3 times L4. And my first number is negative 2.551. As you go down this list, you will notice that everything on there is negative, which makes sense because we already talked about the fact that this is a negative correlation. So now I'm going to go to my list menu and I'm going to go to sum of L5. And then I'm going to divide it by n minus 1, which was 9 minus 1, which gave me an answer of negative 7.921, which I'm going to divide by 8, and we get negative 0.9901, or 02, depending on how you round it. And that's what R is, so that means we have a very strong correlation in the negative manner. When I went back and tried the linear regression to test what the calculator had, it had negative 9.88, and that just is a curve for a rounding error, so this was from the linear regression. So there's how you find R by hand, or not really by hand, but just taking all the steps so that you know where R basically comes from.